Nigeria is yet to create an inclusive atmosphere that enhances accessibility to the physical environment as well as information and communications technology for persons living with disabilities. This is the assertion of the Vice Chairman of the UN Committee on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. According to him, it is in contravention of the UN Convention which Nigeria ratified in 2010.
99% of places in Nigeria are inaccessible for persons with disabilities, for persons using wheelchairs, for blind persons. The environment is not accessible. So we're talking of buildings, we're talking of roads, transportation. All those are not really very accessible to persons with disabilities. Blind persons should be able to have access to using computers by having screen readers on their computers. Deaf persons should be able to have access to sign language.
Speaking further, Dan Lamy, who is also the director of the Anglo-Nigerian Welfare Association for the Blind, ANWAB, said there is need for inclusive education.
Parents on their own try to find ways and means of getting their children included in various schools. But on the whole, inclusion we're still a far cry from achieving inclusive education in Nigeria. I know some pilot studies have been made in some states, but the level of achieving success is yet to be determined.
The educationist said it is imperative that government not only step up attention to the welfare of persons with disability, but to champion and strengthen the campaign to promote attitudinal change by the public.
We're still finding it very difficult to get the society to understand that certain language is not acceptable, for persons with disabilities, like you say physically challenged. That is not acceptable. You talk about deaf mute or deaf and dumb. All those are not really acceptable. So language is still an aspect that society needs to learn. Of course, attitudes need to change.
Article 9 of the UN Convention stipulates, among other things, that state parties should ensure that all places that are open to the public are accessible to and used by the public are accessible to persons living with disabilities. Felicity Ezewike for Plus TV Africa.